What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's battles. Today we've got a super cool Total War Warhammer 2 versus 2 battle for you between me and Zardar Total War, and we are up against the Brits, who are ShadowOnline Gaming, and Janet on Occasion. Now you can see that me and Zardar have teamed up, and we've taken the Empire, and we are facing off against the Foul Vampires. Now, right off the bat, you can see we do have quite a lot of units all spread out right here, and so I'll go ahead and just get right into it and show you what we've brought. So for my Empire army over here, you'll see I've got Karl Franz, and I've got him right up there on top of his flying mount, and he is ready for battle. He's got Gal Maraz. You can see we're ready to do that huge armor piercing bonus, and we are ready to do war. We've also got two groups of outriders over here on the left. We've got a mortar. Here in the back, you'll see that we've got the Demogryph Knights with halberds. Those anti-large are kind of trying to take out any large units I thought might come in there, as well as these outriders with their armor piercing missile damage are pretty much like mobile handgunners. The mortar may be a little out of place, but I'm hoping in case they had a lot of grouped infantry units that we would be able to get in there and do some major AoE damage. Here in the front, we've got the unbreakable flagellants. Although they don't have any armor, the fact that they're unbreakable, they don't deal with fear or terror with their high weapon strength, and they've got pretty good melee attack. They should be able to get in there and do some major damage. We've also got that Regiment of Renown, the Tattersouls, who can do about the same thing. Here in the back, instead of handgunners, we cheaped out. We went with Sterling's Revenge as well as the Free Company Militia. So I figured since I had these two groups of outriders over here with the armor piercing, I could also kind of cheap out with our, instead of getting handgunners. And we do have, that still makes 4 groups of armor piercing missiles. Here we've also got this Witch Hunter. You can see the Witch Hunter here. He's got Accusation. I figured there's a lot of single targets for him to be firing at. So that you can see we've got a pattern of just heavy armor piercing. We're trying to take out any large with those Demogryph Knights. And here in the back, we've just got that one group of Spearmen just to kind of, hold up the rear. We do have a Bright Wizard, and he has brought that Burning Skull as well as Flaming Sword Rune, also with Kindle Flame, that additional weakness to fire damage. Since both of these spells do good damage, it really helps add to the damage that they both give. You can see here that Flaming Sword of Rune does work on the ranged units, so you can add fire damage to ranged units if you get a chance. Over here for Zardar's Zardar Total War. Over here for his army, he's got 2 Free Company Militia as well. He cheaped out a little bit also, but he does have Sterling's Revenge here in the back. So he's actually got the 3 groups. He does have something we don't see every day. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. We've got the Outriders with grenade launchers. So you see they're ready. They've got that pretty much mobile artillery action going on. Here in the very back, he's also got some Spearmen with shields holding up the rear, and he also has a Bright Wizard. Now, for his Bright Wizard, he has brought Flame Storm, he's brought Flaming Sword of Rune, and he also brought Piercing Bolts of Burning. Now, he didn't bring that Kindle Flame, and, I can see why. Sometimes I'm not sure if it really does as much as the tooltip may imply. Here in the middle, you see he does have some Tattersouls as well, but he does have Sigmar's Sons in between his 2 groups of flagellants. So Sigmar's Sons are pretty much, they're unbreakable, so they really almost always pay for themselves, and are always a good addition to any army. He's also got a couple of groups of Spearmen with shields here, just some Empire frontline infantry, just main line. These guys are not great, but they're there to be fodder, and they've got pretty cool hats, so that's worth something, right? Here is the main goal of his army. He does have Volkmar the Grim on top of his chariot. You see him there right in the front with that giant Empire griffin there in the back. It's pretty much this is exactly what I am flying on top of, and that's the weapon I'm using there. So that's pretty cool. You can see Volkmar's got pretty much all his abilities, and he's ready to go. He's also got that Jade Griffin there to give that healing, to himself. So that's pretty good. All right, so you can see. Let's go see for the Brits, for Janet and Shadow. Here in the back, oh my God, 3 groups of Direwolves, 2 groups of Dire Pack, and 1 group of Direwolves. And this is just a nasty hidden trick, and you'll see that will come into play later in the match. Across from us, up here in the air, you'll see that we've got the Red Duke. Janet's got the Red Duke ready to do some good action. right on top of that vampire dragon. That is so awesome. Look how detailed that. I mean, that is just such a cool model. Here in the back, you'll see he does have one group of blood knights there. He's also got some skeleton spearmen in the back. In the front line, here's those Stearnsmen, and they are never a bad pick. The Stearnsmen are just so strong. They've got that regeneration. They've got that with 90 armor and silver shields, and just the fact that I mean, they are so strong. He's also got a couple more groups of Graveguard here. You see they have a few chevrons in them. This 2 or 1, and then he does have this Claw and Nagash. That's that with that AoE slow. That Mortis engine is awesome, man. It causes terror, it draws damage away from your foes and heals your friends. It's just such a good unit. Here for Shadow, you can see he's got this Vampire Lord up on top of a dragon, as well as a Terrorgeist. So that is that is just a major flying squad. That is not what I expected to see when I brought Karl Franz. I figured maybe I would be facing against a Red Duke, and then I was gonna, you know, maybe have to duel him up in the air. But I did not expect to see all of this crazy, you know, air force coming at me. We've also got one group of Karn Wraiths over here on the flank. He's got a bunch of Graveguard as well here in the middle. And he does have a regular corpse right here with that unholy lodestone there. You can see here it replenishes the life of everyone around it. So it's a kind of a cheaper way to get that health replenishment. He's got a group of Karn Wraiths over there. So 2 groups of Karn Wraiths with some skeleton spearmen for good measure in the back, and some skeleton warriors up in the front. So there's a lot of just chaff units from the vampires, of course, some strong Graveguard. We've got a little bit of ethereal units, but major air force, and there is an unholy lodestone over here, so it's a nice cheap addition. You know, ever since they reduced the cost on those things, it's always good to have one in your army just for healing. And those Blood Knights should do damage. There's Graveguard, there's Air Force, and let's go ahead and just see between all 4 of these Total War Warhammer YouTubers, let's see how it goes. So let's go ahead and get it started, and right off the bat you'll see that this mortar starts firing. So the mortar is going to be just, you see it raining down there in the distance. And I think that first hit is on top of the Stearnsman. So the first thing we want to do is get that mortar on the Stearnsman. We're going ahead and get Karl Franz. We've got Foe Seeker activated, and we are trying to chase down the Red Duke. You see Janet pull the Red Duke right back out, and if I want to keep chasing with those Outriders, I'm going to get slammed into these Graveguard. So we're going to go ahead and engage in the back here. We've got the Red Duke engaged with Karl Franz. You can see him just there fighting it out, all locked in Mortal Kombat. We've got Galmaraz activated. The Red Duke has got everything, Potion of Strength, Invocation to Hecht on him, but he is still starting to go down. But if we zoom out, you can see here, this is a problem. That Vampire Lord and that Terrorgeist are coming in here. And even though I try to pull away, we do have the Curse of Years on us. So that Curse of Years is going to keep us from getting away. And it is going to, we have 3 big units fighting after me. Everyone is starting to get engaged. You can see here the Claw and Nagash is down to half health. But the big problem here, Karl Franz is still caught. It looks like he turns around, he gets engaged, and oh my god, smack down the... There we go. One big hit and he is broken. Karl Franz is pretty much going to be taken out of the air. All of the frontline units are engaged. Karl Franz goes down. You see here, all of these flagellants are engaged here, but they are actually already taking some pretty good damage from that charge. The mortar is still taking some shots, but I think it's doing as much damage to me as it's doing to my enemy. You see here, these Demogryph Knights are up engaged with these Stearnsmen, and that is a bad place for them. We do not want them to be engaged there, but Janet is engaged so quickly that I didn't really have a lot of time. I was in the back fighting here, and look, even these Sterling's Revenge, there's a summoned group of skeletons in there fighting them, keeping them from shooting. And we are having some major trouble. Oh my god, the Dire Pack is coming in, and even though I've done a lot of good damage, you can see here Graveguard are bursting, the Stearnsmen are down, the Demogryph Knights with halberds, but pretty much, I mean, Karl Franz has been chased off, and I'm having some major trouble. Let's go ahead and slow it down for a second. You can see over here there's a flame storm going off that, oh my god, it is just nailing those skeleton warriors. But those are cheap units, and that flame storm is going to cost a ton of magic. Over here on the right, you can see that that ShadowOnline Gaming has got a big group here, but those Graveguard and those Skeleton Warriors are taken down pretty heavily. Here in the middle, we do have that Vampire Lord fighting. He's got Undeath Resurgent giving tons of defense. We've got a Banishment going down from Volkmar. That Flamestorm moving here in the back right into those Sterling's Revenge, but he's doing a lot better over there on the right than I'm doing over here on the left. You can see these Blood Knights are actually engaged up against these Demogryph Knights. There's a bunch more of these Skeleton Spearmen engaged, and I'm starting to take some major damage on those Demogryph Knights, but we are still shooting in with our Outriders. Here in the back, we still have that Witch Hunter engaged against the Red Duke, and this has just been a massive, massive battle. So you can see here that the Dire Pack have gotten right into these mortars, and that is going to cause me some major problems. So these Dire Pack getting into the back line, I mean, if you take a look back here, they were able to rout off my Free Company Militia. They were able, pretty much my Sterling's Revenge ended up in melee, engaged up there in the front somehow. We've got... look at this. The Red Duke is going to be chasing down, and he's taking a huge amount of damage. You can see his healing cap is already showing. A lot of these units have hit their healing cap, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. The Blood Knights are down. The Corpse Card is down to half health. This Claw and Dagash has healed so much health already, but a lot of my units are kind of bashed up, and the Dire Pack is still going strong. Dire Pack's up to 58, 59, 60 kills. You can see they're just immediately going to take out those Outriders, and these Dire Pack are going to clear the Outriders off the field just as this Red Duke is going to clear off the Witch Hunter. Here in the back, the mortar is leaving, and there's a little bit, and now that this Terrorgeist is done routing off the Karl Franz, he's going to head back into the battle. We're going to get Sterling's Revenge and some of these Flagellants back into the fight, but there is not a lot left here on the left side. You can see this group of Free Company Militia over here. They're still fighting it out. We do have some Spearmen engaged on the Red Duke, but the Red Duke on top of that giant monster there is going to be able to more than deal with it. There'll be more than enough. You see there are still some Graveguard remaining. This Claw and Nagash has not went down, and that is going to be my downfall. Even though we may get I think is another Burning Skull. We're coming across here. I mean, we are able to do some good damage to that group of Skeleton Spearmen, but it's just not enough. So we do have the Tattersouls are in here. You can see Sterling's Revenge are fighting from above. But over here on the right flank, it's also going really well for Volkmar and Zardar against ShadowOnline Gaming. Here you can see that these two groups of Knights of the Blazing Sun, and I don't know where they were when I guess I didn't even mention them in the intro. But we've got the Vampire Lord is almost down. You see he's been fighting it out. We've got these Spearmen over here in the back that are kind of returning, and there's still a good amount. See, Sigmar's sons are fighting against some Graveguard. Here's a big group here, and Volkmar is actually the one who's been helping out. These Knights of the Blazing Sun are up to 60 kills. You see the second group is coming back here along with this Bright Wizard. And so they're going to get in, surround, and take out the last of these infantry units. So those Knights of the Blazing Sun are actually the key component that I forgot of Zardar's army. He was doing just so great with those. And it really helped him against Shadow's build. Here in the middle, you see we still got some of those unbreakable Tattersouls. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. You see them in here fighting. They're attacking that Claw and Nagash, but that slow drain is just constantly taking them down. And since I don't have any healing, it really has an effect over a long battle. You see, we still have a few of these Sterling's Revenge. Those Graveguard were able to get into them. Even though they are crumbling, a lot of these units are crumbling over here, there's not much left. So my Bright Wizard's got El Sif on him. He's going to get taken down by the Red Duke. And look at these healing caps. I mean, these guys have done so much healing over here on the side. We do have one group of Spearmen over here, but it looks like they're set up against these Dire Pack. But the Dire Pack are just so strong. They're going to get in here. They're going to cut down those light units. You see here, we've got our Spearmen engaged, and in the back is another group of Dire Wolves. They're going to go ahead and surround. They're going to chop down those Spearmen. And those weak Spearmen probably wouldn't have done too great anyway. So that was the last of my units. But you can see here that we've got Volkmar holding strong. And he is actually chasing this Vampire Lord off the field down to 540 health. And if he can get a few more shots, oh my god, it is so close, 400 health. But he's going to pull away, get back up into the air, and it'll turn out okay. You see also that they've summoned some zombies. The Red Duke here, Janet summoned zombies right on top of that Free Company militia. And even though they'll go down pretty quickly, they are going to tie up some of the Free Company and slow down the amount of damage that they're doing. Here on the left flank, you can see that Janet is kind of grouping up all of these units. You can see the Vampire Lord of Shadow still alive there. We can see that the Red Duke is taking a few shots, but he is going to get one of those big dragon breaths right down there in the middle. It does some good damage to those spearmen. And at the same time, there's not a ton of ammo left on these Free Company militia. So I almost feel like had we really... Oh, here we go. The Dire Pack are engaged against these Knights of the Blazing Sun. You can see here that the Claw Nagash gets in. Here we got the Red Duke coming in the back, and they're trying to support them. But those Dire Pack are not made to fight these strong units like these Knights of the Blazing Sun. You see Volkmar the Grim getting in the back of there, right in the back of the Red Duke. And I mean, he's pretty much reached his healing cap. So is the Claw Nagash. But at the same time, those stacking invocations have really kept him alive. The Dire Pack is crumbling. See over here on the right that there's still a good group of Empire State troops here fighting against some zombies. Here in the main battle, though, the Rave Guard are starting to crumble. The Sternsmen are here in the back, and Janet's units are going down. Oh man, we've got the Red Duke flying around, but here comes the Vampire Lord as well, and there is just massive amounts of healing. You see, even though Volkmar the Grim is in here, most of those units have went down. Sigmar's sons are finally getting chopped down. You can see the Graveguard in here killing the last of the Sigmar sons, which are in here just completely surrounded. The Tattersouls are in fighting too, but at the same time, there is just still this big Claw Nagash. Most of the ranged units are here in the back. You can see them firing in at that Vampire Lord, trying to take some shots. The Bright Wizard is routed off, and it is just such a close battle at this point. 238 troops on our side, 137 enemy troops. But that Invocation of Heck going off on this Vampire Lord is getting him to be higher health. Look, he's almost to 1,000 health again. He was down to 400. The Red Duke is coming in here, and they know that armor-piercing damage from those Free Company militia and Sterling's Revenge is pretty much the big problem for them. So they get in here, they rout off Sterling's Revenge, and that is pretty much it for the ranged units. So here in the middle, you can see there are still some Knights of the Blazing Sun. They're making some charges there. They're getting in there, doing some major work, and they are just made to take out those Graveguard and Sternsmen. You can see here, some of the Graveguard are already crumbling. You see another charge from that second group of Knights of the Blazing Sun. They're going to get in here. All of these Graveguard have critical binding. But at the same time, they do not have a lot of health left. The Claw Nagash pulling in here, and you can see that all of those debuffs appear right on top of the Knights of the Blazing Sun. As soon as that Claw Nagash gets in there, Volkmar the Grim is pretty much standing strong, but there is a lot of the Empire units are routed. A lot of them are just those standard Empire troop spearmen. We've got these Graveguard going down here. They've got Volkmar's chariot surrounded. You see here that there is, in the background, oh my god, you can see those Empire State troops getting just smashed by the Red Duke up on top of that. A huge, monstrous dragon. So we've got the Claw Nagash here. You can see it's doing its damage. It's going to rout those units back off. And the Vampire Lord's still alive, 1,000 health now. Still coming in here. You can see them start to charge in there. Shadow and Janet, the Brits coming in here. Zardar holding strong, but Volkmar the Grim pretty much by himself at this point. He's fighting up against a Claw Nagash. He's got a few of these units left in here, but he's still fighting himself, and you can see the balance of power just shifted pretty heavily after they routed off those Empire State troops. You can see here just massive hits coming from that Vampire Lord and the Red Duke. I mean, the fact that Shadow was able to keep that Vampire Lord alive was probably the thing that allowed them to pull out this close ending. I mean, 1 minute left. You can see here we've got the Red Duke cycle charging. We've got that Vampire Lord cycle charging. We've got the Claw Nagash in here slowing, drawing health off of Volkmar. You can see even with that Claw Nagash, you can see the ticks come, but he's also gaining health back as well from that Jade Idol. So you can see here he's in here engaged. The Claw Nagash isn't going anywhere though. It's still got 2,600 health. It's not taking too much damage. Where these charges in here, oh man, you can see the health of Volkmar just go right down every time a hit comes from one of those big monstrous units. You can see him surrounded right in the middle there. You can see his pimp cart just surrounded. There's zombies being summoned. He's taking massive hits from every angle. and that'll pretty much be it. So if we take a look back here, you can see all of just those huge amounts of dead units. And I think the real problem was those dire pack and these you see Volkmar goes down. The dire pack getting in the back lines there just did massive amounts of damage. The fact that I wasn't able to take down that Claw and Nagash, if I had had a cannon instead of a mortar, that really would have been the ticket. So I should have had my Outriders firing at the Claw and Nagash right from the beginning. I mean, all of these units, you see, you saw Janet was able to actually summon some Skeleton Warriors right in the middle of my Sterling's Revenge, my Free Company Militia. With Karl Franz going down right in the beginning, that is a major, major problem. I was so greedy, over engaging. I really tried to get back. I thought I'd be able to get away quickly, but I was not able to get away, and I think it cost us the game. So losing Karl Franz early like that was a real problem. We see the Bright Wizard. I maybe wasn't able to get it off as much, but I got some big shots with my Bright Wizard. The Witch Hunter was not able to really do as well as I had hoped. He pretty much got taken down by the Red Duke. I was kind of hoping, I mean, if I hadn't overextended with Karl Franz, I would have been able to use these Outriders and the Witch Hunter to kind of punish the Karl Franz there, and it would have been really good. You see my Flagellants actually died pretty quickly. A lot of the Graveguard were able to do some good damage, but that wasn't the real issue. I mean, we got some 87 kills with these Tattersouls. We did okay, but the real issue was just that the back line, that mortar, only 20 kills there, the Free Company Militia, and Karl Franz for my side. I mean, Janet... Battle Pizza right here is Janet on Occasion. 166 kills with the Red Duke. You see hundreds of kills with those Graveguard. The Sternsmen we were able to take out pretty early. We shot them a lot with the Outriders, but he kept them really until the end with all of that healing. I mean, with 2 Vampire players, that was a lot of healing. Look at the Claw Nagash, 146 kills, 165 here. So Janet did just huge amounts of damage. I mean, these Dire Wolves being able to get back, they were able to drag down my Outriders, which would have been a real problem for them. The Dire Wolves are just a perfect counter for those Outriders. My Demogryph Knights, you saw I didn't really use them to the best of their ability. We were able to take the Blood Knights out and to keep them out of the game, but at what cost, right? I mean, the Corpse Cart went down. I was able to get that out, but the Claw and Nagash should have been my main target. And I did lose on that flank to Janet on Occasion, and ultimately, I think it cost us the game. Over here for Zardar, you see he was able to get 140 kills with Volkmar and 150 with the Bright Wizard. So you see, that's what I was missing, that major damage with my hero. But look at the kills across Zardar's guys. I mean, 65 on a group of Spearmen. I mean, he was fighting a lot of summoned zombies and skeletons, but I mean, this was just good work. His numerous frontline here was actually a good counter to Shadow's numerous frontline. So if we take a look at this, I mean, look at all these Skeleton Warriors, all these Skeleton Spearmen. These guys were battling it out, and they're right at the perfect quality. I mean, the Tattersouls and Sigmar Sons are going to do real good work against these cheap Vampire units. You see the Free Company Militia as well. We had a little bit of trouble. I think they were shooting a lot. I mean, they were able to take his Corpse Card out pretty early. But I think they were shooting at that Vampire Lord a lot. And just the sheer healing that the Vampires can get is crazy. You can see the Karn Wraiths. I mean, the main thing, these Knights of the Blazing Sun, that was his big attacking unit, and they did really well as well. The Outriders with grenade launchers, not so much. They were able to get caught by that Dire Pack, and you see the Dire Pack, 41 kills here. Between the two of them, that hidden Dire Wolves in the back, that was definitely one of our downfalls. The Knights of the Blazing Sun, though, were in it to the end. They did really well. If we take a look over here at Janet, I mean, you can see 100, all those kills across the Graveguard, 166 on the Red Duke. So pretty much every hero in the game got hundreds of kills except for mine, who got 0. So and we can see here who failed it for the group. Still a fun game. Shadow got, amazing. That Terrorgeist, though, was taken down. I think that was probably what those Free Company Militia were doing. Once that Terrorgeist came back in, they probably helped take that down. The Vampire Lord almost gone. I think if we had managed to take him out, it maybe would have been a little bit different at the end there. I'm not sure the Red Duke would have been able to take on Volkmar by himself, but with the Vampire Lord charging in there and just the amount of health he has, I mean, it's sneaky. That he had down to 400 or 500, but he was back up to 1,000 real quick with those invocations in the heck. Overall, though, it was a great game between a lot of fun guys. Check out Janet on Occasion, ShadowOnline Gaming, Zardar Total War. These guys all have channels. They're all great YouTubers, probably even better than me. Check them out. Please subscribe below if you guys are coming from one of their channels, or if you guys are fans of them and this is your first time. More great Total War content coming soon. Thank you guys very much for watching. This is Black Iron, and this has been another one of Black Iron's Battles.